doop a doop a doop 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 doop. Wow, that was dumb. Why'd you do that? Anyways, welcome to another vlog. This is another one where I've actually written it out. Wow, I'm like cranking them out today, aren't I? So that's neat. Man, I need to come up with better interests. Man, you know what I used to watch a lot of? Game Grumps. Boy, did I love me some good old GG back in the day. Grep for life, man. It's hard to believe, but Game Grumps has been around for over 7 years now. Even harder to believe because I really only avidly followed the first year or so of it. I sort of stopped after John left and the show slowly started to become less and less about video games. I really thought the show lost something when it wasn't about two guys who had a lot of experiences with video games clashing personalities and making each other laugh. John just brought a lot of the game into Game Grumps, and things just kind of got awkward after a while. Leaned a little too much towards the Grumps side, especially when Aaron started having to play games he didn't like, and the Zelda Sequelitis, and God, things have gotten weird, haven't they? One might be excused for thinking the Game Grumps today is something completely different from what it was when it started in 2012, and it is. Now there's live-action skits and weird ad campaigns that skirt the line between totally okay and totally not okay, and barely any video game content at all. Look around the internet and you'll find that the original Grump, Aaron, gets chewed out a lot for being lazy and in some cases a terrible person. There's an entire subreddit pretty much dedicated to this, and its existence since 2013. Reading over it makes me wonder, why are people so mad at Aaron? And you know, I think I've got a reasonable explanation to that question. Somewhere, deep beneath the earth, undisturbed for years, lies the truth. Never uncovered, never revealed. It's Egoraptor. You see, Egoraptor was a famous animator on the internet way back then. He did the Awesome series, a series of shorts that parodied popular video games, Limited Bill, Girl Chan in Paradise, and a little series called Sequelitis. And yes, it's Aaron. That's the joke. I'm not going to blow your mind with this shit or anything. It's so weird to see the people out there who only discovered Game Grumps in, say, 2014 or 15 who missed the entire era where Aaron was primarily known as Egoraptor and for animation. I think this is why a lot of Game Grumps fans so adamantly defend him as well. They just don't know what he was before the Game Grumps. And what he was influential. Let alone for a moment that the Awesome series, which had to have inspired tons of artists to get into animations, I think there's a watershed moment for Egoraptor. I think there's one video that sums up his entire body of work, a magnum opus. It's the kind of thing where if you only contributed this one thing for your entire life, you'd have done your earthly duties. You can go buy a sea in Valhalla. You thought this was going to be why Aaron sucks and Egoraptor rocks? No, this is why Megaman X versus Megaman X is so good it makes my dick rock hard. Or how one man fooled millions of people into thinking he was super intelligent. Ah yes, the references. Cringy, but intentional. First and foremost, this video gets referenced everywhere. From its tone, to the way sentences are delivered, to direct quotes dotting the landscape of casual conversations between gamers everywhere. Where this video is referenced to hell and back. Yeah, it's gonna be cringy. No, I'm not gonna stop because it proves my point, damn it! The Megaman Sequelitis is a video that discusses how Mega Man X improves on its predecessors and why it's such a good game. It did this, and by and large, by breaking down the very first level of the game and shows how it teaches you to play organically rather than through a menu or a tutorial or something. But let me level with you for a minute. Electrical engineering? Pretty smart. General Relativity? It's pretty fucking smart. Mega Man X Sequelitis? You already know. But seriously, this is a great video. This is a video that proves its point, does so in a timely manner in under 20 minutes. And does it in an entertaining way that is a mix of original animation and gameplay footage, all while making gaffes that are so quotable. Mavis Bacon? Number Munch? Think about it. It's 2011. All the YouTubers you've come to love are but baby chicks in this growing pond. There's not really a whole lot of critical thinking going on, and hell, even Let's Plays are still in their very early years. And then this video drops and gets like 1 million views, and the last one had 1 million views too, but we're not going to talk about that. that the gaming internet was just never the same, man. Think about how many analysis videos and critiques came out in the years following. How helpless do you feel? Huge numbers of channels were built on game reviews that discussed game design and made jokes. Maybe Egoraptor wasn't the first, but he certainly codified the genre, a genre which has expanded to viewerships of millions and millions of people and made careers for several content creators. This is kind of where it all began, really. This animated dude talking about how good Megaman X is. And you know what the crazy thing is? The tone of this video is positive, joyful. It's not tearing down a game like Castlevania 2 or Ocarina of Time. This dude's so happy talking about Mega Man. He's so hyped up just to teach you about the intro stage, like you can't help but nod your hands and say, "Sugar, I'm buying what you're selling." Egoraptor's style was loud, in your face, exuberant, and forceful, but in a way that made you laugh. You gloss over things he might misinterpret or stretch because he's so goddamn entertaining. And let's face it, Mega Man X, though famous, is far less popular than something like Ocarina of Time. So it's likely this was a lot of people's first exposure to a game that was almost 20 years old by that point. Who can argue? It's just in general a well-made video that succeeds first at being entertaining and second at being educational. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, see, likewise, I'm sure Sequelitis was and is a lot of youngins' first exposure to discussion of game design. You can talk about shitty graphics and broken controls all day, but Egoraptor's first 3 Sequelitis videos talk about level design complementing gameplay, explaining game feel beyond game feel, and really just talking about how games can teach you to play them. How many people did this enlighten? How many people came away from this video with a new pair of glasses and now a hatred for one of these? Yeah, sure, it's kind of like that episode of Family Guy where Peter learns the phrase shallow and pedantic and then fancies himself a critic, but think about how many doors and windows that open for people to get into game design. Whether he's right or not, he got a conversation started, and that cannot be denied. Hell, even his Zelda Sequelitis has some decent discussion about how 2D games are decided versus 3D ones. This is my point. This video that Egoraptor made was huge. This is the view of Egoraptor that people had going into Game Grumps, which started the next year, and was originally intended to be a Let's Play series with a discussion on game design, which is hilarious in hindsight, but there it is. This Sequelitis video, I feel, was what made people look up to Egoraptor. Not only was this a well thought out argument, it was largely animated. Tons of hard work went into making it, and it was a true step up in its intelligence from the awesome series, taking its time to calm down and make a point with third-person commentary. Terry, you watched this before you had 21 channels all discussing game designs, and BAM! Egoraptor seems like the guy. I want to be him. Sequelitis could just be this funny video that people will still reference later, but it's more than that. It popularized a whole new era of game analysis videos, and it gave thousands of people their first game design lesson. It's so much bigger than a popular YouTube videos. It's that one big hit that gets everyone else scrambling to get on that train. This, my little Sequelitis, is why people from this era of the internet don't like Aaron Hansen. Egoraptor was an animator with a prolific body of work, dozens of animations under his belt even before Sequelitis, all complete before you could monetize that shit on YouTube. He did that shit for free. This was a man you could look at and respect, knowing that he put hours of work into each cartoon and who was passionate about video games, who would teach you about them and open your eyes to new facets and new ways of looking at them. It's hard not to respect that. It's hard not to work any animator's, work. But, Egoraptor did a lot. He did it first. Not first, but, he did it. He did a lot. He did it early. He was out there. He was out there in the trenches. But since then, he's abandoned animation entirely and seems more intent on chasing the next buck to be made, bouncing from live-action shows to sponsored ads to book deals. He does book deals now? What the heck? And all of this while diminishing and downplaying the game content he's making, let alone making art like he used to. The man now goes to work in his pajamas, makes more than a lot of us could ever hope to in his pajamas, and cranks out content that is following the leader rather than being the leader. I give him a lot of credit for being a businessman. He's done a really interesting job at staying relevant once he found himself in fame, and I can't blame the man for wanting to try new things. But I feel like he didn't outrun the snowball on this one. It's curious to see how other creators working for Game Grumps split off and continued on in their careers. JonTron got out early and is now having more success with his channel than ever, granted while having some of the same creative issues of leaving behind what made him famous. Ross left and is continuing to pursue his passion for art and animation. And even Barry went out and started creating his own gaming content. And this shows it's still possible to remain true to your art form and still be successful. Originally, Game Grumps was something to fill the gaps between animations, not overtake them. It was supposed to be the thing that allowed him to create more, not quit at it altogether. You were supposed to join this. Oh shit, I messed that one up. You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. Yeah. Darn, I'll hand in my Star Wars card. It's sad to a lot of people because that man had talent. His art was good, and he was pretty handy with words. Egoraptor's style is apparent and often imitated. The man had a niche, and to see him abandon it entirely for what appears to be low-effort content that he'll defend as adamantly as his art is disappointing. It's like John Lennon retiring to write jingles for corporate commercials, or Tarantino directing prank Okay, I would watch though. Though, as you know, they would be hardcore as shit. It just seems like Aaron is settling. I mean, if Game Grumps is a huge company of 20 people now, and he only has to film, what, a few hours of content a week to get enough content out there for the channel, why can't he go back to animating? Or at least putting his name onto projects that seem in line with his passion, like an animated show, or voice acting, or some sort of game. Wait, he finally did make a game, and it's a dating sim? Really? Mr. Don't give me text boxes of story in a video game because that's not what they're there for? Weird. But maybe it was never meant to be. There's kind of evidence in the Megaman Sequelitis that it was just kind of a freak accident. I mean, look at the Zelda Sequelitis. It's one thing to argue an unpopular opinion, but it's another to not even consider why the popular argument is so popular. That video felt mocking in tone, and while its analysis was decent, it just felt like he was ranting angrily at something that made so many other people happy. I think it was this video that really killed the man that was Egoraptor. Maybe lots of people still liked it, but it showed the cracks in the impenetrable veneer that the creator had around him for so long. So maybe you're the lucky one, and you found Game Grumps around 2014 and 15 when it was a product much closer to what it is today, reliant on its creator's exaggerated reactions and offhand gaffes. Maybe you weren't around for the time when that very same person seemed very completely different from what he was today, working for basically nothing except for maybe a couple of cool internet points and thumbs up on Newgrounds, and not, thousands of dollars. Maybe that's for the best. But for those of us who were here before Game Grumps, it's kind of like comparing a snack food to a high-class dessert. Sure, you can chomp away at the snack food and enjoy it because that's how they're made. You just want more. The dessert, however, demands some slowing down to appreciate how complex and satisfying it is. In the end, you'll always think more fondly of the high-class dessert, much like a video game that is simply well put together. Where's the off button? Where's the off button? Oh man, I'm criticizing Egoraptor on the internet. I'm gonna get